Hi, this is Harry Manx, and you're listening to Cigar and Whiskey.
Hey folks, it's Nick from Cigar&Whiskey in TDC Moncton, and I've got with me in the Playhouse Green Room one of the greats from Canada's blues community, none other than felicitous Harry Manx. Harry, first off, right now you're doing an event with Steve Mariner.
Yeah.
What brought you and him together into doing this? Because you've been doing it for since the beginning of the year.
Yes, we recently recorded did our first recording together. Hellbound for Heaven, it's called. So myself and Steve Mariner. Prior to that, I've known him for a long time, like 20 years on and off. I met him when he was just a kid, 16. He was already a great harmonica player, and now he's also a great guitar player. And so, we decided we'd get together and make a blues gospel album last year. So that's been serving us very well. A lot of people like that record.
Now, yourself, how long have you been playing? Because everyone that I've interviewed starts very young,
Yeah.
and then takes that to a higher level by bringing it into a passion, and then eventually as a working musician.
Yeah, it's true. You know, I'm 65 now. I left my home at 15 to join a band, so that looks like 50 years.
Yeah, but you did well with your career. In fact, you were one of the first Canadian blues musicians to actually use different sounds from different musical instruments.
Yes.
What was the first instance of you trying out the new sound?
Well, you know, I went to India and I stayed a long time there, 12 years, and I studied Indian music. And that's where I got myself an instrument called the Mohan Veena. This one right here. As you can see, it has many tuning heads on it, and it's got 20 strings. It's a wonderful sound. So when I studied Indian music, I played mostly ragas, but then I decided I'm going to try a little blues on it. So I started mixing the blues with the Indian sounds, and I brought that over here to Canada in 2001, and it got a lot of interest right from the beginning. And I think my first album became Blues Album of the Year, and it did very well. So I've been pretty much pursuing that path of blending Indian music with the blues.
Now, I know you sing as well as play the guitar.
I try to.
Well, I beg to say that it's your voice actually has a particular sound, and it's not impossible to enjoy it. It's actually goes well. Any particular influences that you have that actually allowed you to say, hey, this is something that I really want to get into?
Well, you know, I grew up in Toronto listening to a lot of blues in the early 70s, and I worked in clubs, and so I got to see a lot of the great blues players live, and I caught the feeling of that music. So I've always pursued that, you know, from the day I heard like Johnny Winter or Muddy Waters or any of these guys, I was hooked. But later in life I came to love Indian music, so I was stuck holding these two different styles. But along the way I've enjoyed so many musicians, and I think I'm probably the result of having absorbed all that lovely music from my childhood.
As many people actually absorbed from you growing up and becoming blues musicians as well.
Yeah, that's good to hear. That's good to hear.
You've been touring, you're 65, you've been touring for at least 50 years.
Yeah.
How do you cope with that particular lifestyle?
Well, it's not like it's not hard work. I'm not working construction. It's a joy in a way, you know. It's always a joy. It's not physically demanding. I think the only thing you'd have to do to have any longevity in this industry is just sort of keep yourself together, and don't stray too far off into
the beaten path.
Yeah, don't get too much into substances or whatever people get into, but stay the course and keep yourself together, and try to remember the show is all about the listener. You know, it's for them, it's their show, so stay true to that, and speak from the heart, play from the heart, and you go well.
During touring, I know as much as you're a musician, um, you're also a human being. Do you have any hobbies that actually pulls at your heartstrings or gives you joy?
Well, when I'm not doing this, I often go to Europe and stay in a meditation commune. That's been my thing for many years, since the days of India. And I live in an ashram when I'm not doing this, so it's a good balance. You know, you want to have some inspiration to write songs. You need to come from some place, and you need to say something if you want to reach people. So to that end, I work on the inner as well as the outer. So there it is.
And my last question is, pardon the use of the term, but a little bit off kilter, but I've been asking it from everyone that I've interviewed.
Yeah.
Is there a favorite dish that pulls at your heartstrings?
Food.
Yes.
My wife makes a lovely chicken, I have to say. She's a great cook. And yeah, maybe it's not only the food, but the energy she puts into it that makes it taste so good.
Well, there we go, folks. Thank you so much, Harry, for the
Pleasure.
time.
Best to you.